Thank you for taking time out with PSOA. Sean Johnston here from Omaha, Nebraska, bringing you 2025 Baseball Umpire Practice number 5. This practice is for umpires who are going to work baseball games throughout the season, playing by the NFHS rules, National Federation High School. We have the NSAA spring high school baseball that plays by these rules. We have the IHSAA Iowa summer high school teams that play by these rules. We also use these rules when Triple Crown comes to Omaha, Nebraska during the College World Series. We do have Nebraska Legion Baseball Net, a website on here, because all umpires looking to work high school level games, whether it be spring Nebraska, summer Iowa, summer Nebraska, you have to register at these 3 respective locations. Yes, 3 different groups, 3 different registrations. Now let's get into the rule differences when it comes to the National Federation High School rules. Rule number 1, Section 5, helmets. Helmets are mandatory for on-deck hitters, batters, runners, retired runners, players, students, and coaches' boxes, as well as non-adult bat or ball shaggers. So if you have an adult base coach, they do not need a helmet. If you have an adult go and get a foul ball, they do not need a batting helmet. All other non-adult members of that team must have a helmet on. So coaches, if your batters are out at first base and they take off their helmet, they are now at risk of getting the team warning. So this is, the helmet was deliberately removed and the inning's not over. So umpires, what do we do when a player deliberately removes the helmet? We warn the coach, and this is a team warning. This is not a player warning. A team warning for deliberately removing the helmet. If the team continues to deliberately remove the helmet, it is not an out. It's not a player ejection. It's the head coach ejection. The intent of this rule is safety and sportsmanlike behavior. So on a foul ball, a non-adult base coach, those players aren't typically always as aware as an adult would. So we want a helmet on to go coach a base or go get a foul ball. Sportsmanlike behavior. We don't want a player using the helmet in frustration after a call. We don't want a player removing the helmet on a home run, showing up the other team. That is the intent of this rule. Safety and to prevent unsporting behavior. So use the warning wisely and use it in the purposes of the intent of the rule. But remember, deliberately removing the helmet, it is a team warning given to the coach. If they continue to remove their helmet illegally, then the coach is ejected. Write down your warnings on the lineup card. That way, if you do have an ejection, it's specifically stated when you gave the team warning and you try to prevent the ejection. Follow through interference. This actually is not a different rule. It's just the words are different. So follow through interference. Rule 2, Section 21. The bat hits the catcher after the batter has swung at a pitch and hinders the catcher's action at home plate. All right, so this is a normal swinging action, whether it be swing and miss or a drop third strike. This could also come up then. All right. Once that batter swings and contacts the catcher with the bat, it's not an additional movement. It is the original swinging movement. If the catcher is able to get the ball and make an initial throw, leave the ball live. But if that catcher gets hit, injured, or not able to find the ball, time. If no runners are stealing, it's not a drop third strike. Nobody's on base, time, follow through interference. So that's the main thing. We have taught this rule in other practices, but it's the words that we're using that's different. Follow through interference. Catchers can make the initial throw and get the out, but if they're not able to make a throw, it's time, no penalty. You just return the runners back to the base. If it is a drop third strike, the batter's out on strike 3. So that's the penalty, strike 3. They're not out because of the follow-through interference. The catcher's just not able to make a play at home plate because he got hit with the bat. So time, the batter is out because he struck out, not because of the follow-through interference. Returning a pitcher. All right, Rule 3, this is substitutions. A player may be removed as a pitcher and returned as a pitcher once per inning. 7-inning game, this can happen 7 times. Now, it cannot violate the conference rule. And what we mean by violate the conference rule, if the coach came out and conferenced with the pitcher in that inning, they cannot take that pitcher out and bring him back in that inning. It has to be before a conference in that inning. Then, pitching substitution rules. That pitcher must remain in the field. So yes, we're going to get into reentry, but if that pitcher leaves the field, goes to the dugout, they now cannot come back as a pitcher. They can reenter in the game, but not as a pitcher. All right, but doesn't happen a lot. Usually happens later in the season, an important game, important matchup, lefty versus lefty, righty versus righty. As long as they did not conference with the pitcher, did not take the pitcher, put him in the dugout, they can once per inning remove that pitcher and return that pitcher. Lineup cards, reentry, and designated hitter. Probably the biggest difference we have when it comes to select youth baseball. We advance to high school baseball, and the rules are completely different in college baseball. In high school, any of the starting players, including the DH, can be withdrawn and re-entered once per game. So there are actually 10 starters in NFHS. So we have this lineup card, and we have a DH in the 4-hole, and that DH is hitting for the second baseman. That's another rule difference. NFHS, they could DH for any fielder, not just the pitcher. We want to put them in this same lineup because now they are locked in together. So if Austin John were to bat, the only place Austin John can bat is in this 4th hitting position. They are locked into that hitting position. We have the subs here. In high school, the subs have to be listed. All right. If they're not listed at the plate meeting, have the coach list their subs. It is necessary for the coaches to put all their subs. So when Noah goes in as a sub, you have to put what hitting position he went in for. So let's say Noah goes in for Austin John and only plays second base. He can do that. And the DH is still going to be DH. If Austin John then comes back into the lineup, you're going to circle the 4 or the player's number, all right? And then you're going to scratch Noah's name off in the substitution spot and scratch Noah's name off in the remaining substitutes eligible to play. All right, so a lineup card is very important to keep track of in Federation, just because there are so many different options that coaches can do and use compared to other rule sets. All right, so take pride in this. Umpires do not write down subs while standing behind the catcher. Take off your mask, stand off to the side, complete all the writing, communicate with the opposing team, communicate with the press box, put everything away, and then get behind the catcher with your mask on. So we talk about observing umpires. You want to be superlative in an area, substitution is an area you can stand out. Time, step away, write down the subs, report the subs to the opposing team, wave to the press box and point to the sub. Put everything away, get behind the catcher. Bench and field conduct, 3-3 penalty. What's the difference here? A warning may be verbal or written. If we write it down on our lineup card, that person that we warn is restricted to the bench or dugout for the remainder of the game. All right, so a verbal warning can be, here's your ball strike warning, home team. If you continue to argue balls and strikes, you're at risk of ejecting yourself. So it's not one specific person that we're warning, it's the whole entire team. Helmet is a verbal team warning. A written warning is you know exactly who is using unsportsmanlike behavior towards the opponent or towards the umpiring crew. That one person now is restricted to the dugout. So it could be a first base coach, an assistant coach, a head coach. All right. If you have one person you know who is doing the unsporting behavior, you restrict them to the bench or dugout, and they cannot leave the dugout for the remainder of the game, except the head coach can leave the dugout to attend to an injured player. Always write down these written and verbal warnings. All right. That way, if ejection does happen, you have it on your lineup card of when that warning took place, and it's proof as an umpire. We tried to stop the behavior, and the behavior continued, and that person ejected themselves. Defensive conference. So when a team is on defense, they're allowed 3 free conferences during 7 innings without being forced to remove the pitcher. Most of the time, these defensive conferences are to go out to the pitcher's mound and talk either to the pitcher, or they bring their catcher, or maybe sometimes all their infielders together to talk what that coach wants to do next. Settle down the pitcher mentally, slow down the game, get everybody regrouped, right? They can take all 3 of these in the same inning without being forced to change the batter. So we go 6 innings of baseball, no conferences. 7th inning, bases loaded, nobody out, coach talks to the pitcher, 1 free conference. Strikeout, coach goes talk to the pitcher. 2 conferences, do not have to remove the pitcher. Strikeout, coach goes talk to the pitcher the 3rd time in the 7th inning. Bases loaded now with 2 outs. Probably always talking about strategy of how to pitch to that next batter. Completely legal in NFHS rules. Offensive conferences, 1 offensive conference per inning. So the offense typically, or realistically, has 7 offensive conferences. They do not carry over. So if they don't use it in the 1st inning, they can't use 2 in the 2nd inning. It's just 1 offensive conference per inning. Mercy rule in the state of Nebraska and Iowa. There is 10-run mercy rule. If the home team is winning by 10, the visiting team has to have 5 at-bats, so that's 4.5 innings. If the visiting team is winning, both teams have to have 5 at-bats, so it's 5 full innings. So we have the score 12-1 here. If it's 12-1 visiting team, once that home team bats and they do not score that 3rd run to make it 9, game is over. Sometimes coaches will be like, okay, the game's over, we lost, but can we play additional innings? The answer is no. Due to insurance and legal reasons, umpires, by rule, once a game is over, you leave the field of play and your jurisdiction is done once both umpires leave the field of play. Teams want to stay back in scrimmage, all for it, but we as umpires cannot umpire it due to legal reasons. The game is over by rule due to mercy rule. When a balk is called, it is an automatic time. That's a balk. you second base. Time, that's a balk, you score. All right, so there is no delay, dead ball. So a pitcher does not stop with a discernible stop with runners on base. Home plate umpire, base umpire, time, that's a balk, no stop. If that pitcher continues to throw the pitch and that batter hits a home run, it does not count. All right, so a balk is time and then say balk and the reason why it's a balk. Balks are automatic dead ball in Federation rules. Another pitcher rule that's different. Pitcher's wind-up position. All right, the pivot foot. And the way I remember the pivot foot, whatever arm they throw with, that is the pivot foot. So if you have an ambidextrous pitcher, that pivot foot can change based on what arm they are telling the batter and umpire that they are throwing that entire at bat to that batter. So if it's a righty pitcher, as we have here in this pitcher, it's the right foot. And the difference is this right foot, the pivot foot, the foot that must be in contact with the rubber the whole entire time, it cannot be parallel with the pitcher's plate. It has to start in another direction besides parallel. It could be on an angle. It could be between home plate and second base, but it cannot be turned so the heel's facing first and the toes are facing third. All right, so umpires, while the pitcher is warming up, watch their pivot foot. Correct it before the game starts. Pitchers are used to playing by other rule sets. We have to get them legal before we put the ball in play. Turning the shoulders. So in this first picture, we are what we call the stretch. All right, the hands are not together. This pitcher can turn and look at third. He could turn his shoulders and look at second. But once the hands are together, as we see this pitcher in the second picture, they cannot turn their shoulders to look at the base runners. In Federation High School, just the mere turning of the shoulders to view the runner is a balk. And a reminder, time, that's a balk, turning the shoulders. They can move their head, but they cannot move their shoulders to view the runner. 20-second pitch clock. There is a 20-second pitch clock in all levels. However, the difference is both the pitcher and the batter have 20 seconds. So the pitcher has 20 seconds to attempt a play, to start the delivery of a pitch, or to feint a throw to a base that has a base runner on it. If the pitcher does not do this, the penalty is ball awarded to the batter. So once that pitcher catches the ball back from the catcher, base umpire, you are starting either your stopwatch or your ready ref, because now that pitcher has 20 seconds to legally engage the rubber and legally start the motion to pitch. Now, how about the batter? The batter has 20 seconds to be in position in the batter's box to hit. All right. In between pitches, unless it's a foul ball, unless the ball leaves the home plate area, unless the catcher makes a play or there's a pickoff, the batter must keep 1 foot in the box. All right. While that 1 foot is in the box, that pitcher cannot start the delivery to pitch the ball, or they cannot bring their hands together in the set position to get ready to pitch until that batter has 2 feet, hands up, eyes looking at the pitcher. All right, so if the batter either refuses to get in the box or keeps his head down, like this batter here, for 20 seconds, the penalty is strike awarded to the batter. So the difficult thing with the Federation rule is, well, if both the batter gets 20 seconds to be ready, the pitcher has 20 seconds to start the delivery to pitch, what happens if the batter gets ready at 19? Now the pitcher has to get set with a discernible stop. That's going to take more than 1 second. Who do we penalize? You penalize the player that delayed the legality of the pitch. So in that case, penalize the batter. The batter is intentionally delaying the game, so the pitcher violates the rule. We are going to enforce that against the batter. Let's stay out of this as an umpire. When you have a batter with 1 foot in the batter's box and not getting ready, clap your hands. Let's get ready and signal with a hand motion the batter into the batter's box. Do that about 10 seconds. So 10 seconds, let the batter regroup, get ready. All right, here we go, 2 feet in. Let's get ready to play. What we want to avoid is exactly what's going on here. Pitcher comes to the stretch to the set, batter calls time, and the home plate umpire is calling time. Do not give the batters timeout just to get the pitcher out of rhythm. They have 20 seconds to get in position ready to hit. The pitchers should not be penalized for being in rhythm and throwing strikes. Do not give batters timeout unless they have vision issues, there's a bug in their eye, there's a bunch of dirt flying around the field. Do not give batters timeout just to get the pitcher out of rhythm. Both have 20 seconds to be ready to deliver the pitch and be ready to hit the next pitch. Pace of play, pitcher warm-ups. If there's a new pitcher, aka starting pitcher in the first inning, or we have a relief pitcher come out of the bullpen, or we have a substitution pitcher in the 6th inning, that new pitcher has 8 pitches, and they must throw those 8 pitches within 1 minute, and that 1 minute starts on the first throw. So base umpires, to begin the game, once that pitcher starts warming up, throws that first pitch, start your 60-second warm-up clock. Now 2nd inning, the same pitcher is coming out. They now have 5 pitches within 1 minute on the last recorded out. So the question was asked, what if the last out was the pitcher? What if the last out was the catcher? Do we give a little bit more leeway? And the answer is yes, a little. But this is high school baseball. Players should know, I'm a pitcher, I made the last out, I'm going to give my helmet to my assistant coach because the inning's over so I can deliberately take off my helmet. I am going to the pitcher's plate, and my teammate, who's playing third base or first base, is going to run by the pitcher's mound and hand me my glove. So if they do that like they're supposed to do, yeah, I'm not going to be a stickler on the 60 seconds. But if that last player made the last out and they're the pitcher, they walk to the dugout, they drink 3 cups of water, they walk to the pitcher's mound, and they're able to throw 1 pitch, play ball, let's go. We have to keep the pace of play as umpires. We cannot allow a pitcher that made the last out to take 3 minutes to get out to the pitcher's mound to throw the 5 warm-up pitches. If there's a new, if it's the catcher last out, what are we looking for as umpire? We're looking for that catcher to run into the dugout, put on their uniform and equipment, and have a second catcher at the last recorded out go out to the home plate and catch the 5 warm-up pitches. If that last out was the catcher, walking to the dugout, drinking water, walking back to the dugout, that pitcher's not coming out of the dugout to warm up with the backup catcher, or the backup catcher isn't out there to warm up the pitcher. Sorry, this is high school baseball. Pace of play, 60 seconds, let's go. Umpires, positive communication. Let's prevent this from happening. All right, so early in the season, remind the coaches, 60 seconds first throw new pitcher, 60 seconds from the last recorded out. Coaches, we're going to work with you as long as your team is working to keep the pace of play going. But if people are walking around, people aren't bringing gloves out, catchers aren't quickly getting dressed, we are going to enforce the rule because it's not fair that one player gets more time to get regrouped, catch their breath. It's 1 minute. Let's keep the pace of play going. Fake throw to third. Pitcher can take the hand off the ball when they step towards and feints a throw to second or third base. So you could fake to third, throw to first in Federation high school baseball. I have to remind myself this every single pregame when I work NFHS rules. Fake to third, throw to first, legal. Batter is out when they legally swing and contact a pitch ball, and even though their heel is on the batter's box line, their foot is touching home plate. Time, batter's out of the box, touching home plate, batter is out. This typically happens on bunts, squeeze plays. That is an attempt to hit a pitch ball. The batter has to hit the pitch ball. If it's a swing and miss or bunt and miss, it's just a strike. All right? It is contacting the pitch ball with one foot completely out, a knee completely out. That's the same. The difference is also while touching home plate. Time, batter's out of the box, he's out. Appeal, runner missed first base, runner left third base early. All right. If the ball is dead, this is where a player or coach of the defensive team can verbally appeal what player missed what base, what player left the base early. All right, so dead ball appeal is the rule difference when it comes to Federation High School. If the ball remains live, we never call time, the defense could do exactly what we do in other rule sets. Throw to the base, touch the base, and it's no doubt that they are appealing a runner missed the base or left the base early. So you can still have a live ball appeal. And if the ball remains live, the offense knows they violated the rule and they're trying to gain an advantage by initiating a play. This is the fourth out situation. So we have a runner on third base, one out, fly ball to left field, catch. Now we have two outs. The runner at third left early and scores. So at this point, the run scored. Offense knows that they left the base early. So runner at second gets in a rundown to make a play, thinking the defense cannot appeal now because they made a play on a runner. Tags a runner out, 3 outs, and now the ball is dead. Dead ball appeal. The defense coach says, Sean, the runner on third base left early. I, as an umpire, got the verbal appeal. Fourth out of the inning, that runner is out. And since the runner was at third base, the other runner was at second, no run shall score because the fourth out was the last out of the inning. So we're going to now take that run off the board. All right, so the big rule difference is the dead ball appeal. The defense can appeal while the ball is dead that a runner missed the base or left the base early. Sliding beyond the base. Force play slide rule. Okay? In high school, they could only slide directly to the base at second base and at third base. If they slide straight into second base and they slide beyond second base and they alter the play of the fielder, they are now out for force play slide rule interference. This runner is out because they didn't even slide directly into the base. Most times the defense will touch second base and go back towards right field, or touch second base and come towards first base. All right. If it does not alter the play, it's not an automatic force play slide rule. It still has to alter the play. The exception is home plate. Home plate is flat on the ground. There's nothing for their spikes to grab, contact, to remain in contact with the base. So they are able to slide straight to and through home. All right. As this picture shows, straight to and through home. They cannot slide straight through second base and alter the play. Make sure there's an alteration of play before you call an illegal slide, forced play slide rule. The last main rule difference we're going to talk about is Rule 9, scoring. All right, so every high school game, whether it be sub-varsity or varsity, they have somebody tracking pitches. They have to input the pitch count into a program, so then the next team knows what are the available pitchers. The team that is throwing pitchers are keeping their players safe and giving pitchers the amount of recovery needed to keep arms safe. Where do we come in on this? It's not keeping track of these pitch counts, but it's us communicating when there's not a pitch legally thrown. When does this happen? A balk. It could also happen that you as an umpire call time because you can't see. A batter calls time because they can't see. The catcher call time because they can't see. But everybody sees that pitcher throw a pitch. So if a pitcher throws a pitch and there is no pitch because you call time or time was called due to a balk, over communicate to both teams. It is the same count, 2-2 count, 2-2 count, no pitch. Communicate that so the scorekeepers and the teams do not count that pitch towards the pitch count. This did happen in a very important high school game a few years back where a team protested that they threw an illegal pitcher because they threw too many pitches. They went back and watched the whole entire game to count pitches, and it came down to a pitch thrown during a balk. The team was legal, a balk was called, a pitch was thrown. That is where the pitch count was off. One pitch. So very important. We as umpires are not keeping track of pitch counts, but we need to communicate when a pitcher throws the ball to the catcher, but we call time or call the balk, communicate that that pitch does not count towards the overall pitch count. I hope this training tape helps umpires differentiate the previous rules we covered in practices and the rules that we have umpired last season. Come back to this video every single Federation game just to review the main rule differences. You don't want to be caught in a sticky situation. Keep on reminding yourself, especially early in the season, what are the main Federation High School rule differences. Thank you for taking time out today, reviewing or learning the NFHS rule differences. If you are looking to work high school games, whether it's spring baseball in Nebraska, summer baseball in Iowa, Legion baseball, please reach out to PSOA and we will get you in contact with the correct coaches within our group or other associations and organizations that have high school games to umpire. Thank you again for taking time out. Umpires, remember, you're only as good as your last call.